Before we begin, I'm going to give a quick shout out to Boy from Cincy. Check out his YouTube channel, include a link to the channel on the screen and in the description below. Cool YouTuber, has some cool videos, so go check him out. And as you may have guessed from the title of this video, this is my Battleground 2016 thoughts video. Overall, the show was pretty good, really fun to watch. I really enjoyed it. And of course, the headlining main event match was the Shield Triple Threat for the WWE title. And before we get to that, I'm going to give you a quick rundown of all the other matches on the card and what my thoughts were on them. Starting off on the kickoff show, there was the tag team match between Breezango and the Usos. The match was okay. There really was no storyline build up to it at all. But Breezango got the win over the former tag team champs, the Usos, in a pretty shocking fashion. So I guess you could say that WWE's maybe taking Breezango seriously, trying to build up that tag team division on SmackDown now that it's separate from Raw. And what better way to do it than against the former tag team champs, the Usos? I could definitely see this program continuing as SummerSlam approaches. After that, it was Bayley and her mystery partner versus Dana Brooke and Charlotte. And actually, Bayley was the mystery partner. She teamed up with Sasha Banks. So yeah, Bayley makes her roster debut with Sasha Banks taking on Dana and Charlotte. Pretty fun way to open up the match, or open up the show. Solid match. Bayley and Banks got the win. And it was really cool to see Bayley finally get caught up. The crowd was going crazy for her. Great in-ring competitor. And I'd really like to see what they do now that Bayley and Banks, who are arguably the two most popular women in the entire WWE right now, it looks like they're both going to be on Raw, but they're going to be one women's champion, that's Charlotte. So are they going to do a triple threat? Is it going to be Banks for Charlotte and maybe Bayley versus Dana? I don't know, but it should be pretty interesting to see how it all unfolds, and maybe Bayley and Banks will, this little friendship they have may implode into a future rivalry down the road. After that, it was the Wyatt family taking on the New Day, and this has been a pretty entertaining rivalry. The New Day going to the Wyatt family compound, that was, it was kind of like a blatant copy of the Final Deletion from TNA, but it was still pretty entertaining to watch. And in the end, the Wyatts ended up defeating the New Day. One of the main elements of the storyline was Xavier Woods being terrified of the Wyatts, but it looked like he overcame his fear in the match tonight, and he actually went crazy, was clearing house before ultimately falling to Bray Wyatt as the Wyatts got the win over the New Day. It was a very fun match to watch. There was a scary incident though. Big E went for his dive through the ropes to the outside of the ring. It looked like he landed on his head. It looked terrifying. It was hard to watch. I hope he's okay, but Wyatts defeat the New Day, and it looks like the Wyatts are splitting up because you have Bray and Rowan on SmackDown. You got Braun Strowman on Raw. So I don't know what's going to happen with either of these teams. Maybe New Day later gets challenged by maybe the Club for the tag team titles, or perhaps Enzo and Cass. But as for the Wyatts, I have no idea what direction they're going to go with for all three of them. After that, it was the United States Championship match between Rusev and Zack Ryder. Ryder came out in some patriotic gear, but ultimately he fell to Rusev. The match is okay, nothing really special. I really did not feel like Ryder's going to win this match at all, and the decision to keep the belt on Rusev was not at all surprising to me. So the US title for now is on Raw. It looks like it's going to stay on Raw. And after the match, Rusev continued to beat down on Ryder when his fellow hype bro, Mojo Rawley, made his main roster debut to get the save. The crowd, kind of a lukewarm response for him. So maybe the Hype Bros are going to be a new tag team on SmackDown while Rusev goes and faces another challenger, maybe Cesaro, for the US title on Raw. After that, it was Sami Zayn versus Kevin Owens, and they tore the house down. Fantastic match. Match of the night so far. Lots of cool spots. There was a scary moment when Sami Zayn was going for his springboard moonsault off the top rope, but I don't know when his legs hit the top rope, he didn't kick back to try and flip all the way, so he almost landed on his head on the ring apron. He was alright, but that was a scary moment. But Owens and Zayn have great in-ring chemistry ever since their days in ROH to NXT to the main roster, and it showed. It was on full display in this match. Sami Zayn got the win. And I do not expect this rivalry to be over at all. I mean, they said it was supposed to be the final chapter, but with Zayn and Owens performing like they did that night, I think WWE would be stupid not to try and like milk it out for SummerSlam. And with Zayn getting the win, Owens can legitimately complain, saying how he wants a rematch. So I think that's what WWE is going to do. They'll give us Zayn versus Owens at SummerSlam. Following that was Natalya versus Becky Lynch, and the match is okay. Nothing really special. You could tell the crowd was pretty worn out from the bout between Zayn and Owens before. In the end, Natalya got the win over Becky by making her tap out. I did not think Becky would tap out. I thought it'd maybe be a pin. Yeah, tapping out to me just does not make Becky look good. She was one of the most over female competitors earlier this year, and I just don't feel like WWE has booked her correctly. Maybe she can get some revenge and a convincing win over Natalya at SummerSlam, but I definitely see this rivalry continuing. After that, it was Darren Young taking on The Miz for the Intercontinental Championship. Match itself was okay. Bob Backlund was absolutely hilarious. Actually, he played into the finish. He got, I think, pushed around and by Maurice and Miz, and he ends up like trying to rip off his shirt, but he couldn't get over his suspenders. So like the back of his shirt was gone, but the front was still on there, and he just looked kind of awkward. It was pretty funny. But Darren Young was kind of mad that Miz and Maurice were like beating up on Backlund, so he goes out and puts Miz in the crossface chicken wing, and the referee counts them both out. At least that's how I think it ended. There really was no decision announced, so Miz is still the Intercontinental Champion and it's still on SmackDown. Darren Young, he's on Raw, but the way this match ended, the door's wide open for the rivalry to continue, but I don't know if they will since they're both on different brands. So as for this Intercontinental storyline between The Miz and Darren Young, I have no idea how it's going to happen with the draft. One side of me says it should happen because, you know, the match was inconclusive, but the other side says, I mean, they're on separate brands, so how could it continue? So I have no idea what's going to happen with The Miz and Darren Young and the Intercontinental title at this point. Following that, it was John Cena, Enzo, and Big Cass taking on The Club. Fun match, pretty chaotic. Enzo was on absolute fire tonight, the most entertaining guy on the card tonight, in my opinion. He had the crowd in the palm of his hand with his promos, and the way he was acting during the match was awesome. And a really fun match to watch. Cena, Enzo, and Cass got the win over The Club. I thought for sure maybe Finn Balor would make his presence because they showed a tweet from AJ Styles saying how The Club was not separated, they just expanded. So I thought they were referencing that maybe Balor would play some role in tonight's bout, but he did not. So maybe Balor joins up with Gallows and Anderson on Raw tomorrow if he makes his debut. Cena, however, can challenge AJ Styles for another one-on-one rematch at SummerSlam with this win. Enzo and Cass, I mean, they could challenge The Club, they could challenge New Day for the tag titles. I mean, there's lots of options for them since they're on Raw, and that's where all the tag teams are. But for Cena versus Styles, I think that's definitely going to continue with the blow-off match at SummerSlam. Following that, it was the highlight reel with Chris Jericho and Randy Orton, and this was a very good segment. Jericho was very entertaining. Randy Orton looked thrilled to be back in the WWE after a 9-month absence because of an injury, and he actually called out Brock Lesnar's PED problems. He said like he's going to take Lesnar to Viperville. He's going to take Lesnar to Viperville. No enhancement needed. That was just like a huge mic drop moment for Orton. And I was shocked WWE greenlighted that, or if they didn't, Orton, I mean, he was pretty brave to do that with WWE kind of trying to brush this Lesnar thing out of the rug, it seems. But yeah, Orton calling out Lesnar for the PEDs and his failed doping test for his UFC fight. And yeah, other than that, that's pretty much it. Just a very entertaining segment to build up the match between Orton and Lesnar at SummerSlam before it ended with Orton RKOing Jericho. And after that, the Shield Triple Threat WWE Championship match between Seth Rollins, Roman Reigns, and Dean Ambrose. And I was shocked this was actually thrown on the Battleground with the draft. I guess they had no option. They kind of backed themselves into a corner. This is definitely a main event worthy of WrestleMania, but as I said, the draft kind of, I guess, screwed up those plans. So they threw it at Battleground. I thought they would try to send it to SummerSlam, but that was not the case. And Rollins and Ambrose, of course, got cheered. Reigns got booed out of the building. There were chants of "Let's go Ambrose, let's go Rollins." They were dueling, and then immediately after those stopped, there was a huge "Roman sucks" chant. Every time Ambrose and Rollins started wailing on Reigns, the crowd cheered, and they booed Reigns whenever he wailed on Ambrose and Rollins. And overall, the match was awesome. My favorite match of the night. I've been a huge fan of the Shield since they debuted. And then ever since they've broken up, they've kind of like climbed their ranks up in WWE. So it's kind of a really cool match to see. And a lot of cool spots such as Ambrose and Rollins double power bombing Roman Reigns to the announce table. And in the end, my boy Dean Ambrose came through, pulled out the win, hit dirty deeds on Roman Reigns, pinned him for the 1-2-3. Still the WWE champion. I was so excited. I jumped off the couch when I was watching it. It was just crazy for me to see Ambrose retain the title, because I thought this match was going to either end with like a screwy finish, maybe like a double pin on Reigns with Ambrose and Rollins simultaneously pinning Reigns, or Rollins winning the belt back by pinning Reigns. But I mean, as much as I wanted Ambrose to win, I thought for sure WWE was gonna, make me mad and take the title off him, but they didn't, which I was thrilled about. So Ambrose is still the champ, and Rollins has a legit claim, well, sort of legit, for Raw to have its own chance since he wasn't pinned. I mean, that's what it seems like WWE's trying to build up to, since they took out the World Heavyweight part of the title from the WWE Championship. So it looks like SmackDown's going to have Dean Ambrose as WWE Champion. Raw most likely will have Rollins as its champ whenever they decide to bring the belt back. Maybe a tournament that culminates at SummerSlam. Not really sure, but overall, the match, my favorite match of the night. Ambrose retains the WWE Championship by beating his former Shield brethren, Roman Reigns and Seth Rollins. And in conclusion, the show itself was a lot of fun to watch, highly entertaining, some solid matches. Zayn versus Owens, Cena, Enzo, and Cass versus the Club, and then the Shield Triple Threat, top 3 matches of the night in my opinion, with the Shield Triple Threat being number 1. And I highly recommend going to watch this event. It was a lot of fun to watch, and just made it even better for me with my boy Dean Ambrose retaining the WWE Championship. So if you like this video, feel free to give it a like, leave a comment, and subscribe to the channel by clicking the subscribe button on screen, or by going down below the video and clicking subscribe that way. Make sure you follow me on Twitter at Cincy Fan Zone. It's the easiest and fastest way to get updates on my website, and I live tweet during various sporting events, including WWE events. And make sure you check out my website at cincyfanzone.blogspot.com. Every video on my YouTube channel is over there, as well as weekly blog posts I write, pictures, autographs, bobbleheads, and a lot more. And thanks for watching, guys.